In July of 2020, I embarked on a long road trip that would include visits to my two daughters, Seven, aka Marlena, in New Mexico, followed by Natalie in Portland, Oregon. In between, I was going to sandwich an 8-day trip on the Grand Canyon, on the Dories. But first, on the way down to New Mexico, I wanted to scout a possible poaching of Culebra Peak from the south. I've climbed Culebra now 4 times, twice from the east and twice from the north, each time poaching it. Ultimately, I want to bag the peak surreptitiously from each of the cardinal directions, east, west, north, and south. I drove south on dirt roads from Stonewall, Colorado, east of Culebra. After about 10 miles, the road became much more narrow, and I noticed that somebody who'd been following me turned off. I'm not sure if they were tracking me or what, because this is all pretty much private property on either side of the road. There's fences. I drove down the narrow road for about 10 miles, and then I was stymied by a gate. I've been following Google Maps, and it showed that I should be able to continue on that road for quite a ways and get to a good vantage position for a southern approach over Purgatory Peak and then Red Mountain, ultimately to Culebra. But I was stymied at the gate. I backtracked all the way to I-25 to Trinidad, continued south to Raton, New Mexico, where I found this Highway 555, which looked like it might bring me into the southern approach to Culebra. I followed 555 for about 40 miles. Once again, ran into gates and had to turn around. So my attempts to find a southern route to Culebra for the moment are stymied. Continuing on my way to Medinaldas to visit Marlena. Sweet little campsite I got here in the National Forest, just west of Eagle Nest, New Mexico. There's been a total of 2 cars that have driven by. I've been here for about 2 hours. Next day I rolled into Marlena's hacienda, ranch, living situation where she's got her studio and she lives in a small straw bale house on a ranch with Russell living in the main house. Her art studio up on the hill. So this one is straw bale too, right?
I think so. Camera shot?
Is that the cat you were talking about?
Yeah, this is Matutina.
It's a kitten.
It's my little friend. She's really cute. Who's on your toy?
It's following you.
Wow. I just got her this toy yesterday. She loves it.
We took a little hike around the area where Marlena lives. Are those your carrots?
Yeah. See, this is the cryptobionic soil.
Oh yeah,
You know about that?
yeah. A lot of that, the Canadians, Utah
Yeah.
and Arizona.
Yeah. So that's why I wanted to just make one single track so that I'm not romping all over the place.
Yeah. So there's the Choyo.
Yeah.
So they're the remains.
Mm-hmm.
It was impressive at one time.
Yeah, and the buds before they open and blossom were so cool. Really, really beautiful. With these like little kind of curly fingers coming off of them. Oh, there's Pedernal. George's Mountain.
Oh, the flat top?
Yeah.
Who's George?
Georgia. O'Keeffe.
Georgia O'Keeffe.
Yeah.
That's George's mountain. George Washington.
And it's hard to really see what stuff is like until you get up close to it. because it all looks the same from a distance, but then you get up close and there's some really cool.
There's actually another one here.
Yeah, it's so big. They look like wood. That's insane. What the hell? They look all dry and woody.
They must have come up when it got pretty good rain. It's probably not good.
No, probably not.
Spores.
Mm-hmm.
Next morning we set off for the Bandelier National Monument, followed by a trip to Santa Fe for dinner. So let me repeat what I just said. There's a loop trail down there in the valley, down there where supposedly we can hike and see some cliff dwellings. This is a monster kiva. I've never seen a kiva this big. And the wind.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go up to the main ruins. Tell me what you see in there.
Well, I think I'm gonna stay here, Dad.
Okay, you're just gonna stay here for a while?
Yeah.
Nice and cool in there?
Yeah, it is actually. The ceiling is really black. I don't know what that's from.
Yeah, it seems like it'd be cooler in here than in general outdoors. Oh, this is pretty big, huh?
Yeah.
We drove back around to the top of the canyon where we did a nice little hike.
Oh, and you can see exactly where that trail goes. Looks like it just leads back down to the visitor center.
Yeah, this trail that goes back up to the other canyons. So we could just climb down there to the cliff dwellings.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You go first.
Do you want to try that?
Yeah, I'll be right behind you.
The Valles Caldera Preserve. The federal government bought this huge ranch and now it's a preserve. And we parked at the visitor center, which is mostly closed. And now we're going on a little walk which goes around this hill. I was just walking back up there and looking at those granite boulders, how they got kind of scoured out. I was wondering, how did that happen? Then we drove for about an hour and a half to Santa Fe and walked around town, socially distancing with our masks on. And then we had some dinner. And then we drove back to in Denali and Merlena's nice little hacienda home. The next day we drove by the Georgia O'Keeffe Center, which was closed due to COVID, and we saw some other sights, including a hike along the Continental Divide Trail.
Lay down, little doggies, lay down. We've both gotta sleep on the cold, cold ground. The wind's blowing colder and the sun